Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Breaking Point Career Mode on F1 2021. We're here for Chapter 5 at the Italian Grand Prix. This episode takes place a few weeks after the Chapter 4 events that happened in the previous episode. So, without further ado, let's get into the chapter.
I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage, but I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? We'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope.
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Toto Wolff. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Yeah, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay, let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
To summarize that cutscene, it sounds like our team, Racing Point, is favoring Aiden Jackson over Casper Akkerman. And it sounds like they're putting all the new parts on Aiden's car instead of Casper's car. But anyway, we move on to the news, and it has officially been announced at the Italian Grand Prix that Carlos Sainz is heading to Ferrari, replacing an outgoing Sebastian Vettel. But it looks like we're getting a phone call from our team manager, Brian.
Brian.
Aiden, I'm glad I've called you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
So we're heading into the Italian Grand Prix with a faster car that hopefully will be able to challenge for points in this race. We haven't been scoring consistent points for quite some time, so we need a good result here.
Welcome along then to race day at what we hope will be another thrilling Formula One Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Here we are then, Monza, the 90th time this event has been held, so a special year for F1 fans, particularly the Italians, who are rightly proud of this event and its heritage.
Yeah, it always feels a bit special here, doesn't it, Crofty? Hamilton holds the joint record with Schumacher for number of wins here at 5 apiece, but could snatch it outright today with a 6.
Nearly 100 years of history here, so let's see what this year holds in store for the Italian Grand Prix. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Akkerman, Carlos Sainz, and Kvyat, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Butler, Vettel, Grosjean, George Russell, and Aiden Jackson, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Alright, so we're starting P18. Hopefully we can score a good hold of points coming out of this Grand Prix. So let's see how this goes. The fiber lights are out, and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. Starting P18 as Aiden Jackson, and it's a pretty decent start compared to the rest of the drivers. We got a better start than Grosjean, and so we're going to overtake the Haas driver, and I'm going to go for one of those famous first turn dives at Monza and make a lot of moves coming down to the first turn, and we're already up into about P11. We're side by side with the AlphaTauri of Gasly, who won here at the actual 2020 Grand Prix. Gasly's going to try and re-overtake us down in turn 4, but I'm going to send it around the outside and make a good overtake.
Casper should be within reach soon, Aiden. You are free to race.
Oh, okay, so we have to catch up to our teammate Casper Akkerman, who's in P5. He started P4 in this Grand Prix, and that is also our objective in this race. So we have to overtake our teammate, who's starting quite a ways ahead, but we are catching up to these guys quite a bit, and I was actually kind of surprised because we're on hard difficulty. That's the most difficult setting on this Breaking Point career mode, and we're really just flying through the pack. And then I remembered, well, we do have a faster car because we got better parts at this particular Grand Prix, so we're really just flying through the field right now. We're now coming up to Parabolica, and we're all over the back of Alex Albon, who's the next driver up the road, and this is for the points as well. This is a really long train, remember, so we're going to try and get a better exit off of Parabolica. We got really close to the Red Bull. We have a lot more speed in this car. I'm going to get right behind him to use the slipstream from my car, and look at this. I'm going to make an overtake on not just Albon, but maybe Norris and Leclerc as well. Maybe can we try and make this 3 wide? I'm using all the ERS I can go for, and I'm going to send it on the 2 cars. We're going to go 3 wide into the first turn. I think we're still 3 wide, but I think we just about get ahead of Norris. Can't get ahead of Leclerc quite yet, but we got a lot of speed, so let's try and maybe make a move on the Ferrari driver. Leclerc doesn't give us a lot of space, but we're going to somehow find the gap to be able to go side by side with the Ferrari and then make a really long lunge into the 4th turn, and we just about get ahead of the Ferrari driver, and we're up into P8. Moving on a bit later, we're very close to Kvyat, and so let's see if we can try and make a move on the AlphaTauri. He's going to defend quite a bit. The AI defend a lot in this game, but we're going to send it round the outside, kind of make a really late dive bomb to the outside, but we do eventually get ahead of the AlphaTauri driver, and you can see Sainz and Akkerman battling it out. Remember, Akkerman is our objective here, but we're going to try and make a move on Sainz into the second DRS zone. We got a lot of speed with the DRS, and we're closing a lot up to Akkerman, and we're just going to slide right between the 2 cars and get up to P6. We're now all over the back of Akkerman, so let's see if we can make the move on the objective here and try and make a move on our teammate as well, of course. So let's see, as we're going to go to make an overtake on Akkerman, a quite late overtake I want to say, and Sainz is going to try and make an overtake as well. That's why I used quite a bit of ERS, so I could kind of get away from Sainz as well there. So good news, we are up into P5, and it looks like Sainz is actually ahead of Akkerman as well, so that's even better. But we still got pace, so I'm going to try and make a move on Ricardo just
We're
a lap
approaching
later.
the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Well.
We're
My
leading our
car is
teammate by
absolutely flying
2.0
right now.
seconds.
I'm so confident in my car right now. I'm going to get past Ricardo and up into P3 because Hamilton did pit. But now we're going to come into the end of this lap, and I do believe once Hamilton does overtake me, I'll be back down to P4. So Red Bull, Mercedes are now pitting, and I'm starting to think, is it possible that maybe we could challenge for the podium positions? Wouldn't that be absolutely incredible? So let's just see how this works out though. We are pitting into the box. Here we go, and it's a pretty neat pit stop actually. 2.5 seconds for our crew there, and I'd say that's a pretty good pit stop. We've moved down quite a ways now, but that's because everyone else ahead did not pit. But surprisingly, we are very close to the front runners there, and I'm starting to think, is it possible that we might be able to get onto the back of the top 3 here and try and make an overtake for the podium? We're getting closer and closer to Bottas, now within a second to the Mercedes driver. If we stay within this gap, I think we should get DRS on the main straight, and we move on a little bit later. We are all over the back of Bottas and that top 3, so it's now a 4-way fight effectively for the race win. I don't know if my car can do this because I've been battling for like bottom 5 really in these races, but I now have a chance to possibly take home a podium, and I'm starting to think, is it possible that we could take a race victory? Wouldn't that be insane? First of all, we have to get up into 3rd place. That means overtaking Bottas as we set the fastest lap as well. He's got DRS, we got DRS, but we think we have a lot of more ERS than the Mercedes driver. We're going to send it on Bottas. This is the chance we have to get up into P3. I make a late send, but it works out. We are up into the podium positions. This is incredible, but I'm not stopping here. We got just a few laps remaining. I have the chance to now go and make an overtake on Verstappen, and look at this. Verstappen's going to try and make a move on Hamilton as well. But look at this, Verstappen's going to try and make a move on Hamilton, and this is where I have the opportunity to try and go down the inside, make it 3 wide, and make a absolutely amazing send that actually worked out. We just made a send on 2 different drivers from a long way back, and it's absolutely worked out. That is absolutely incredible. We are leading the Italian Grand Prix from Max Verstappen in 2nd, and the 2 Mercedes following in 3rd and 4th position. We are leading the Grand Prix. I am lost of words here because this is something that we've never done before in this career mode save. So let's see if we can just hold off Verstappen. But look in the rearview mirror, you can see him just all over the back of me. We're now onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. Verstappen is going to try and go around the outside. I'm just going to brake a little bit later though, and I'm going to try and keep this first place, just defend with everything I have. I don't have very much ERS either, so Verstappen has got the straight line speed of the Red Bull. It's a faster car, so he's just going to be gaining and gaining. We're now onto the final DRS. Verstappen cannot get past, but he's got a way better exit out of Ascari. I am starting to struggle a little bit. I'm starting to get a lot more nervous. I'm using all the ERS I can, but here comes Verstappen. Here comes the Red Bull. He's going to try and go to the inside line at the final corner. Who's going to come out on top? Verstappen side by side with me as we come down into turn 11 here for Parabolica. He's still there though, onto the final stretch. It's a drag race to the line, but I'm just about going to get it for P1 at the Italian Grand Prix.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
Well, 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 quite the rivalry forming between the rookie Aiden Jackson and his veteran teammate Casper Akkerman.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when Hamilton signed from McLaren back in 2007. We all know how that one ended. Alonso returned to Renault pretty much the moment the season wrapped up.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Racing Point's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the veterans of the sport. They're making their way out to the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Well, you couldn't have asked for a better result today. Congratulations, Aiden. Top spot on the podium. How are you feeling?
I'm going to say I couldn't be happier. It's the dream, because it truly is the dream. This is just an incredible result.
Fantastic. I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's the dream, right? I've not got much to say. I'm going to take all of this in, lap it up, and then probably go and ring my mum.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
I'm going to go for the left question because I got to say the team has done an absolutely amazing job. I couldn't have done it without them. So incredible result for us all around.
I couldn't do it without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Akkerman?
I'm just going to say a simple answer. We're doing fine.
Look, driver relationships are always going to be tricky. Individually, you're always pushing yourselves, and that can cause friction. I can't let anything like that worry me. Besides, we're fine.
Thank you for your time.
Alright, so that's going to be the end of the video. So thrilled to pick up our first ever victory in this Breaking Point series. It couldn't have come at a better time. Next up is going to be the Mexican Grand Prix for Chapter 6, and I've heard this one is going to be a fun one. Chapter 6 will also be the final race of the F1 2020 Championship on Breaking Point, and the last race as Racing Point until the new season with Aston Martin. So, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more Breaking Point content, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.